Welcome everyone. Day 62. There's a topic I actually didn't put enough attention to in the past, which I think everybody needs to know of, and that is writing automated tests. I've decided to introduce it today so that at least you get to know how important it is. Many of you may know of something called TDD. If you know TDD, please, and if it makes sense to you and applies to your use case, project, and team, go ahead and employ it. Okay, but it simply means writing tests. Okay, as you write a feature. So you write a test first of all, it fails, make it pass, and you iterate as like that. But today, let's talk about tests. Okay, just a brief theory, and then we get into writing them. And of course, once you understand them, you can use AI to generate for you the tests, and then you can review them to make sure that AI is doing exactly what you expect. But of course, that comes after you have understood what they are all about. So we're going to talk about mainly two types of tests: unit tests and integration tests. Okay, both are automated tests. Okay, whereby we don't have to manually go to the browser and make calls to the backend using the front end. It is something that will happen from the Python code using a library called Pytest, like I'm going to show you soon. So, what is a unit test? Okay. Wow, I need to undo this color. So let's talk about unit tests. Okay. So unit test simply refers to writing a test, an automated test, which is responsible for checking and testing a small piece of code. For example, it could be a function, it could be a method, it could be, of course, a function outside the class. Methods is what we call a function when it is in a class. Okay, that's what unit tests are all about. Testing small isolated pieces of code, and then in case you had a dependency, if that small piece of code has a dependency, you mock it. Okay. So mocking simply means you fake it. Okay. You create a fake version of it. Okay. Because you don't want to work with real data. For example, if your test, okay, involves using a payment gateway, okay, and that payment gateway maybe requires payment, okay, you don't want your tests to always make you to spend money, so you mock, you create a fake one, okay, you make a fake one, but which helps you to test that external payment gateway. And also these external services sometimes are very slow, okay, they're very slow, and you don't want to have slow tests. It could, like for example, delay your CI/CD pipeline and stuff like that. So simply uh simply mock. Okay, so a mock is simply a fake service, or a fake function, a fake class. Okay, but you're going to see them very soon. And then finally, yeah, they are easy to test and debug. Okay, then for integration tests, okay, we're now talking about how to test how several components can work together. For example, if you have, of course, this example here is saying views, but this is a use case of things like Django and maybe frontend. But for our case, think of it as executing an endpoint, okay, which is going to make multiple calls, okay, or is connected to the service, which is connected maybe to the database, which is connected to maybe another service, okay, or you have one endpoint which works with several things. For example, maybe an endpoint for booking a user, it saves the record to the database. That's the first component. It goes on and publishes an event to Kafka. That's another one. You expect an email to be sent. That's another one. You expect maybe a payment to be made. That's another one. So you find 5 components, okay, working together. So to test how these multiple components work together is what you call an integration test, okay? And sometimes you might find people in these integration tests using real dependencies, okay? But you have to be very, very careful when you're using real dependencies when you're testing. You may not want to spend money, okay, on them. So because you're using real dependencies, you end up having slower tests, okay? Because you're hitting the real database you get. But it's more realistic, okay? Because you're not faking anything, you're not mocking anything, okay? So why do we need tests, okay? I don't know if you've seen me many times going back and forth. I don't know whether this has been happening in live streams or offline, okay? But I think it has happened in one of the live streams you have had, whereby you see me fixing something which I already fixed earlier, okay? That is because I wasn't aware about it, okay? And I changed something unknowingly, okay? By maybe changing one function, it maybe changed another, okay, because of how I've written it. But when you have tests and you're running your tests all the time, okay, in the event that something breaks, okay, the test will break and alert you know that, okay, here you expected to have ABC, but it's giving you XYZ, okay? So by doing that, it helps you to catch bugs early, okay? And some of the things are easier to understand them when you do them, okay? It is easier to understand them when you do them, okay? So I want you to practice writing tests like I'm going to show you. Then of course, this is it is usual. This point is usual, is like obvious, okay? Not usual, but obvious that it ensures that the code you've written works as you expect, okay? Trust me, when you start writing tests, you'll get some surprises, okay? It can actually make you, it can force you to think about the logic of your code, okay? The business logic. So, like I've said, sometimes when I do things, I end up what? Breaking something which was working earlier, okay? But unit tests can help prevent breaking existing features, okay, when making changes. That's actually, for me, I think it's the most important thing I like about testing, okay? And also, of course, it increases this confidence, okay? When you're deploying code, you know that, okay, all my tests are passing, okay? All my features work as expected. How do you know that all your features work as expected? Because all the tests are passing, okay? So it gives you absolute confidence. But one more thing which is missing here is that only write tests when you're willing to maintain them, or when your team is willing to maintain them. Because if you have a team, okay, or you're working on a system, on a project which is constantly changing, you'll find it you'll find it a little bit tedious to always change your tests, okay? Because when features are always changing and functionality is always changing, it causes you to also constantly change your tests. So if you don't maintain your tests, okay, then you have a broken code base, okay? Your tests become instead the problem. So your team, you and your team must be willing to maintain the tests, okay? Especially when you know that the features are going to change so often, okay? So that is something I wanted to tell you. So let's go into it. So when you go to the code base, okay? When you go to the code base here, actually I had written a few things, okay? I wrote a few things, okay? And actually they are tests. Sorry, I got a distraction. Let's continue. I'll close this module and I go to tests, okay? So there's a module called tests. Initially we had the dummy test here, okay? I think I was showing you something earlier on, okay? But now I wrote some tests, but I thought it would be better for me to show you step by step, okay? So I removed them, okay? But I'm going to rewrite them so that you understand what is going on. But before that, you will need a number of modules, okay? Dev dependencies or packages, which is Pytest async IO. Why Pytest is a testing module, okay? Async IO is simply to help us test asynchronous operations, okay? Then Pytest mock will help us with the mocking functionality. Then also I had an issue when I was testing, okay? Where my password hashing had an issue, okay? So I had to use bcrypt 3.2, okay? To pin bcrypt to this version, okay? For them to work. So make sure you also have this, okay? And of course I'll push the code and you will be able to clone, okay? But mainly we need these two dev dependencies. So add them to your pyproject.toml and run. You can either type them manually and run uv sync like that, or what you can do, simply run uv, okay, add, okay, but this time you do minus dev, okay, then you say pytest, you mention the name of the library, okay, pytest async io, okay, like this, both of them. Pytest async IO, Pytest mock, and you'll be good to go. So those are the two things I added. Yeah, my goal earlier was to just show you the code and explain to you step by step, but it's okay. I have a small distraction here. I may have to go off before but let's continue, okay? In case it becomes urgent, I'll have to maybe take a 2-minute break before we continue. But let's go on, okay? So there's a file called conftest.py. In Pytest, in all of Pytest, the conftest, okay? Conftest.py is a file which you use for setting up your tests, okay? Setting up and doing the configuration of the tests. One of the things I want to configure is the database. When you're testing, it is good to have a test database. It is not wise to use the database, okay, that you're using for production, okay? Because in case your tests involve, for example, like deleting users or updating users, you can accidentally update a user in production or delete a user, delete records, okay? So you don't want to do that. So you want to run your tests against a test database. Do not forget that. Always use a test database. So I'm going to write that code, which will be responsible for the test database. I keep getting a distraction. I think I have an emergency. Let me just get to it and get back right now. All right, let's continue. Sorry about that. I had to deal with something that came up in real time. So yeah, I guess I shouldn't have used that message saying taking a break. Okay, it's a little a little misleading. Now let me. So the first thing, like I told you, we need to create a test database. That database will be this volume from this other side is interrupting me. Let me reduce it. So the other database will be called test. I'll create a variable called test db name. Okay, which be equals to, let's call it test underscore db, like that. Okay, then the host pg underscore host, okay, will be localhost, okay, but I'll use its actual address, the IP address 127.0.0.1, okay, and then what else shall need the now build the actual URL, okay. Now I want to explain something to you, okay. Why am I using, ask yourself, why am I using pg host equals to 127.0.0, okay. Okay, think about it. Think about it. Why do you think? Okay, it's actually very simple. It's because if you go down here, where is it? Pipe project, not pipe project, compose. Okay, look at this service, which is the DB service. Okay, it says when any external connection comes, okay, connect on port 432. Okay, but our service is called DB. Okay, so when we're running our tests, we're not going to be running the tests in the container. It will be outside the container. But to connect to the container, okay, the address of our machine is this, okay? So shall say from our machine, try to connect to this port 543, okay? Not DB, okay? Not this DB. DB is within the container. So if we try to use DB as the address name here, okay? If I change this to DB, it will fail, okay? This will fail. This won't work, okay? Not actually like that, okay? It won't work. But if you were inside the container, it would work, okay? But I won't be running the tests outside the container. But using this address, which is our current machine, okay, we shall be able to connect to this on this port. Because here, this port means when you connect, okay, when anybody tries to connect to DB using this port, okay, map them to 5432 inside the container. So this one is for outside connection being mapped to the internal connection. So that's why I have it as it is, okay? Yeah, so let me go on to build now the database URL. Follow me very closely, okay? To build a database URL, I want to get it from the environment variable. Let me open this file again, okay? So if you go to the, I see our application here, FastAPI app, okay, has something called DB URL, okay? And this DB URL, this database URL, not DB URL, but database URL, let me expand this. Let me check on this other screen to make sure that you can see clearly. Yes, yeah, I think this is clear enough. If it's not, let me know. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. Let's now continue. I think this is good enough. So now, this database URL is what we need to get from the environment variable. Okay. To get it, I can simply import OS here. Say import OS, put a space, then I'll say os.get env. Okay. Then here we shall say get the database URL. Okay. Database URL. I'll autocomplete to accept what AI has given me. Okay. But this is not entirely true. Okay. I'm going to change it. So this database URL is what is going to come from here. Okay. From the environment. But, okay, in case it's not there, we shall have a default value. Okay. That default value, ideally, won't actually look like this, okay? By default, are you seeing this, what it has? It has a Postgres at the end here, okay? It has a Postgres at the end, okay? So in fact, I can even just copy this, copy it, and remove all this, okay? This is how it should look like, okay? So if the environment is not set, we shall have that, okay? Then, okay? But now remember, we cannot access DB like I told you, okay? Because we're outside the container. But to talk to it, okay, we have to specify this PG host, okay? So here I can, instead of saying at DB, I'll say at PG host, like that, okay? So at PG host, at localhost, this port, okay, will now point to this one here, okay? And we'll connect to the default Postgres existing database in the system, which is running in the Docker container. Now, after that, what I want to do, okay, is to now manipulate this URL, okay? The URL, I want to change this URL here, okay? I want to manipulate it wisely. That in the event we get this, okay? We get this one, okay? Where is it? We get this URL, okay? We replace DB, okay? Because remember, this one is just a default value in case we don't get this one. But in case the database URL exists, we need to replace this DB. So to do that, I'll come here and I say, create a variable called test URL, test_URL. This way I expect AI to be very smart and to help me. I'll say URL, okay, the previous URL dot replace, okay. What do I want to replace? I'll say where there is at DB, okay, comma, replace with an F string, okay, and this F string will be at, okay, these square brackets, PG, host, okay, like that. So that's the first thing I want to do, okay, that where there's this @ sign, okay, this @ sign, replace it with that. Let me try to minimize that, okay. So this is the first thing we are doing. That is when we get this value from the environment. So this is me trying to set up a test database. So db that. Next up, so I'm going to also check. I'll say if this test URL tests. Sometimes AI suggests things and instead confuse it. This test URL dot ends with Postgres. Okay, let me autocomplete this. Let us see what it's saying. Okay, test with Postgres. Okay, I say test URL because test URL dot. I don't. This might not to replace. Okay, I can even do an R split. Okay, to make it easy to split, because R split does what it does is to split from the right. Okay, so I'm going to split from the right. Okay, then I'll say split it maximum times of 1. Okay, of 1. Okay, and get me the first item at the first index. Okay, so this is actually correct. What it is suggesting is correct. I'll accept it. Okay, so let me explain to you. It says split from the right. Okay, where there is Postgres. Okay, in this case it is this part. Okay, that part. Okay, and how many times? A maximum of 1 time. Okay, and so this will return a list. Okay, then we shall pick the first item in the list. Okay, so when it splits, okay, the list will have this one as the first part, then this one as the second part. So we want the item at index 0, which will be this first part. That means we have removed the last part. Okay, so we get the first part. Okay, then we add the database name this time, which is testdb. Instead of Postgres, we are getting the test, we're adding testdb. Okay, that's how our URL is going to be. Okay, I hope that now makes sense to you. Okay, all right, so now I go on. I'll say, since I'm now done with that, okay, now I can override. I can say os.environ, okay, and say database URL, or like AI suggesting, is equals to this test URL. Okay, so now we're tricking our program, okay, to use the test URL, okay, and this test URL, okay, has the test database now set as the database name. Isn't that nice? Instead of using Postgres. So this is how you can manipulate it, okay, to use what you want. Okay, then now after that we can now import. Okay, I can import things from the backend. I can say from backend dot main import app. Okay, so it's important to import app here right now, because if we imported app before, I mean app here, okay, the database URL would already have been loaded. Okay, so we first change the database URL, okay, then load app. Okay, so after that, you can now say also import things like from backend dot CRUD, okay, dot database import get session, because we're going to need get session. Okay, then up here, the things that which you can import up, by the way, like Pytest. Okay, let's say import Pytest. Okay, we shall need from SQL Alchemy create engine. Okay, shall say SQL Alchemy. Remember, SQL model is built on top of SQL Alchemy. Okay, shall need create engine, shall need text. Okay, very soon you're going to understand what they mean. We should also need session maker. Okay, what else shall we need? From SQL model. Okay, SQL model, we shall need to import session, the one we have been using always, and SQL model itself. Then shall need a test client. Okay, from FastAPI dot test client import test client. Okay, so this will help us to do like post, put, patch. Okay, just like how you're using tools like maybe Postman or your browser or Carl. All right, so this is it. Okay, I think we are ready to go. Now, I'm going to create a function, okay, which will help us to ensure that our database exists, okay, by creating it. So I'll create a function, and I could say underscore ensure underscore db, okay. You see, AI is trying to suggest lots of stuff, okay. And for this function, so if you have a question, don't hesitate to ask. Let me just check the chat in case there's any. All right. So this function will be responsible for creating our database, okay? And I see AI is trying to suggest things, okay? So I'm going to first build a base URL. And this base URL will be built from the test URL, okay? Test URL, okay? I'm going to try to split it again just in case certain things don't work out as I expect, okay? But this time I'm going to say I'll split, okay? This time I'll split, okay? From the right again, okay? But this time where there's a /, okay? A maximum of 1 time, okay? And pick out the first element in the list, okay? Then add plus Postgres, okay? Because remember, what we have here at this point does not have, the test database does not have this test DB, okay? It's not there yet, okay? So I want first connect to Postgres, okay? The default system, which is there, okay? Then I'll now create the engine, okay? So I see saying engine, this is correct by AI, I'll autocomplete. Say create engine, we pass the base URL, isolation level equals autocommit. So why do I say isolation level equals autocommit? Because when you're in a transaction, okay, alchemy, okay, alchemy will not allow us to create a database, okay, when you're inside a transaction. So this word here called autocommit, okay, allows us to run commands, SQL commands like create database, okay. Yeah, so we're going to now do that, okay. Can create that statement. I can say with engine, okay, with engine connect, okay. So this is correct by AI. I say engine.connect as con, so con a variable used like for connection, it simply means connection. Then I say connection dot execute, okay. What do I want to execute? Okay, I'll say select, okay, let me see what AI is suggesting. Select one from PG database where that name equals to test DB name. Okay, this is okay. So I'll auto complete it, okay. Then here I can just say dot scalar, okay. I'll get a dot scalar like that. What is this DB name? Do you remember? Test DB name is this one here, okay. So we have connected, okay, to this one. Then we're trying to find out if the test DB name is there, okay, by simply doing a usual SQL statement, okay. So this database actually exists, okay, in Postgres by default. It comes with it. So you can simply say exists equals to that, okay. Then I can say if it does not exist, let me see what AI is suggesting. Okay, I can go with AI suggestion, which is correct. It says con.execute create database test DB name. That's okay. Or you can use create database if not exists, okay. But then I've discovered something. We need to wrap the things into the text. Remember up here, I imported text, okay. So this would actually fail. So I need to come here and set text, okay. Wrap it with quotes, okay. Go at the end of this statement here and also add a quote. I think that is it. Yes. Then also here we need to say text, okay. Come on, what's this? Even here, add it, okay. So to be safe. So that's how it is, okay. Then at the end, like you all know, outside the with context, we can run engine.dispose, okay, when we are done this. with everything, okay? We can now dispose of the connection pool. Then outside here, I can now say underscore ensure DB to call it, okay? So like I told you, conftest.py is a file in Pytest where we configure tests, okay? We write the configuration for our tests. So in case you want to learn this, this is how you can go about it, okay? These are some of the things you may need to do, okay? Of course, you can simplify it, even an easier ways, but I thought to go this approach so that you have a good understanding, okay, of how to go about it. So let's continue. So to carry on with this, I need to now write our first fixture, okay? But even without that, we need the engine, okay? So I'll say engine equals to create engine again, okay? But this time we're going to create using the test underscore URL, okay? Remember what this URL is right here, okay? Then after that, we can have that session local, okay? Session, come on. Session local. This way I expect AI to be sharp. Because the things are very like equals to session maker. We call session maker, okay? Then we bind, okay? Some of the things are not what I want. What I want is to say bind equals to engine, okay? Then I can say class underscore equals to session. We pass this session, okay? Then expire on commit equals to false. That is what I want to have, okay? So yeah, this is how you go about it, okay? So what is session local? What do you think is this, okay? This is simply a factory for creating database sessions, okay? And things like expire and commit, okay, ensures that objects are still accessible after a comment, after a commit, not comment, but after a commit, okay? So this is simply a standard SQL model or SQL alchemy practice, okay? So this is simply going to be our factory for creating database sessions. Now, what else do I need to deal with? Okay, we can now create our first fixture, okay? Yeah, so you see, this is correct, okay? So we're going to have our first fixture, okay? The scope is for the session, okay? And auto use will be equals to true, okay? So it will be used for, it will be setted once for all our tests and ended once for all our tests, okay? So I can call it setup, okay? Setup database, okay? Then I can accept all this, okay? So here we create all our tables, okay? Our tables, SQL model metadata.create all, like you saw me doing when we're starting this project, okay? So this is not new. Then at yield, all the tests will be run, okay? Then after yield, okay, we drop all the everything, okay? We drop them to clean up. So this is startup, this is for shutdown, okay? And this will happen at the end of all our tests. Then next I can now say at pytest.fixture, okay? Pytest.fixture, but this time, okay, I'll simply create now the session that we shall need, okay? Say session, okay? In fact, you can even find people naming them very easily, like you can just say setup DB, okay? Just keep it simple, setup DB, like that. So for the session here, what I can do is similar to what we had in this function here, okay? To get the database session, I can simply say with engine, okay? With engine.connect, okay, as connection, okay. We can now start our transaction, okay. You can say our transaction will be equals to connection dot begin, okay. So we begin our, for every, so every test we shall begin a transaction, okay. Then we shall say we create another context, okay. So we say with our session, okay, we now bind. So the bind equals to connection. Okay, we connect, we bind it, okay, and say as session. Then we yield the session, okay, because that's what we want in the end. When things are done, what do? We roll back the transaction. Okay, I want this to be unsigned. Yeah, so this is going to be running for every what is it called, for every test. Okay, so for every test we shall start a transaction, and after that we roll it back. For example, if after updating in a unit test, we undo the update, you get, just to avoid clashes, okay, between tests. Okay, so every test is going to have its own session. So this is how you go about it. Then after that, I'll create another fixture. I'll set pytest.fixture. Okay, so fixtures are simply pieces of data that are going to be reusable and used in our tests. So I'll create a client. Okay, this is going to be the client we're going to be using for testing. Okay, like for making put request, get request, post request. This is the client we're going to be using. Then inside here, of course, I in this value here called session. Okay, Pytest will automatically give us this session up here. Okay, will give us this session up here. Will inject it for us because it is a fixture. Okay, and now what do I need to do? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? I think this is it. So for client, I'll say for the client, okay, we need to override. When using the client, we need to override the client which is going to be used by FastAPI. Okay, to do that, okay, we want to trick it to use our own client. Okay, I mean our own session. Okay, because we have a get session function. Okay, which is this one here. Did I import it? I don't think I imported it. Do I even need to import it? But it's okay. Let's go on. So here I'll say app.dependency. Wow, AI already knows what I want. Dependency overrides. So we are overriding a dependency. Okay, that when you call get session, the get session dependency, what do? We simply supply you with our session. So you can just say lambda, okay, session. Very simple. Okay, so we are overriding the session to use ours. Okay, so it will be this one here. Otherwise, if you don't, you can easily have issues. So we say with, put another context with test client. Okay, test client. Okay, we pass the app. Okay, app as CC for test client. Okay, what do we do now? We yield. Yield. Okay, then at the end we now restore. Okay, to make sure that maybe this override doesn't affect anything else. Okay, yeah, so it's always good to do cleanup work. Okay, like rolling back transactions, make sure that we have what, reset the overrides. Okay, otherwise you can get issues, but this is a very, very good thing to do. All right, so after this, something else I need to discuss. Actually, earlier on, I had already generated the tests. Okay, and I had reviewed them, and they were doing exactly what I want. I just wanted to make sure that, yeah, get session is here. I was looking for it. Okay, it's right here. I was just wanting to make sure that I explain to you what the conf test is, okay, and how it actually works and what you can do with it. Okay, so don't cram and say he showed us how to do this. Okay, go again and play around with it. Okay, and do what you want with it. The next file, okay, other codes, I think actually I already created them. What I can now do, probably, since we've now set up our configuration for our tests, we can go to, so this is like configuration that applies to all tests. Okay, so now for all our tests, we shall need to set up a database, we shall need a session, we shall need a client. Okay, So in conftest.py, you set up things that are going to apply to all your tests, configuration for all your tests. Okay. The first thing is that we need a test database. Okay. Because we don't want to affect our production data. Then also, we set up things like our session that we need for connection to the database and a client for testing. What else now? Let's try this, okay? Writing some tests, okay? So I had tests here, but I removed them, okay? But I can write them. It's actually very easy. Testing is something easy. There's nothing actually complex about it. Yeah, trust me. Okay. Nothing hard about it. So let's try to get the hang of it. Okay, so to do it, we need to, of course, import a few things that we needed. Okay, like you saw earlier, but it's actually very easy. Okay, I see nothing hard about this. That is why if you understand how to write tests, you can simply use AI to write the tests for you. But of course, make sure you review them to make sure they do what you're doing. So here I'll create a test. I'll say test underscore create user. Okay, like that. Okay, so test create user. What do we need when we're creating a user? We need the session. Let me open this too. We need this session. Okay, how do we need it? How can we get this session? Because it is a fixture. Okay, Pytest will do what they call dependency injection. As long as I say here like this, I say session like this. Okay, Pytest will be smart enough to know that this is what we want. Okay, we're asking for this, and yield session will give us the session here. Okay, then can create a sample email. Okay, and say maybe the email for this person. Email, if I can spell it correctly, equals to test at example.com. Okay, their password will be the secure password. Then the user will be equals to, we need to import the create user function that we have in our code. It must be in from backend.crud.users import create user. Okay, even later we shall need get user by email. Okay, get user by email, we shall need it. So we see what AI is suggesting. I'll hit tab to accept it. Okay, because it's correct. It says create user. We shall need the session. Because if I go to that definition, if I hover over it, press command, click, are you seeing we have the create user, which requires the session, email, and password. So we pass them. Okay, then we can do now some assertions. Okay, you can say assert that the user dot email is equals to email. Okay, then assert that the user dot id is not none. Okay, at least this has to be id. Okay, a UID should have been created. Then you know what we can do using this get user by email? We can verify. Okay, we can fetch the user from the database. So db user will be equals to get user by email, which also accepts, which needs the session and the email. Then we prove that is this person in the database actually the one we have just created. Okay, by doing this, we assert that this user we have just fetched from the database matches this one whom we created. As simple as that. That's how you write a test. Okay, nothing complex, very simple. Okay, and straightforward. Like I've told you, with testing, once you've understood the concept of testing, and to understand, you just need a good month of practice, even a week. Okay, and you're done. You can always use AI to generate for these tests. Okay, but like I always say, review them, because sometimes it can do something which is wrong, and you have to change it. Okay, you have to change it to suit your need. Then you can create another one. Down here, say define a function called test. You can test creating a booking. Okay, test create booking. Come on, create underscore booking. Spelling of booking is wrong. Sorry about the background noise. Here we pass the session, but you can even annotate this. Okay, you can annotate. To annotate, I need to import. I'll say from SQL model. Okay, import session. Okay, So here I can annotate. I say type is session. Even here I can annotate. I say type is session. Yeah, to have some clean, okay, some clean tests. Okay, what is it doing again here? Crazy. Let me do things myself. Okay, so again, like I told you, Pytest is going to inject first our session from this fixture. Okay, that's the importance of having fixtures, the cool thing about them. Now here, I can now create a user. I say user will be equals to create user, okay, like that. To create a user, this time I can be just instead of specifying email and password directly, I can pass them here, okay. To pass them, I can say session, comma, put the email, okay. I can say booker at example.com. Password, just say past, keep it simple, it's just a test, okay. Then, but I think we should not allow this, okay, these simple passwords. Then here I can say booking, okay, booking will be equals to, we need a booking model, okay, so I need to import it. So I'll say from backend dot models dot booking import booking. So here I say booking, then now I can pass the data, okay. So I say the user underscore ID will be equals to this user ID, okay. Yeah, then, well, AI can hallucinate a lot of rubbish. What's this? I expect it to actually go here, okay? I know the attributes of this, okay? That is flight order ID, but it put a lot of rubbish. So this is the foreign key. So user ID, because this user.id. Then here is the flight order ID. So I can just say flight underscore 123, comma, the total price equals to, we're going to say 500.0.0. What else can we add here? The currency, come on, equals to USD. Yeah, I can interfere with the autocomplete, okay? The status will not be confirmed, but pending. See how AI can mislead you if you don't understand your business logic and how your system works, okay? Then Amadeus order response for now can be just an empty dictionary. So I think this is good enough. So do you know what I can now do? Now to create a booking, I need to import that function, okay? Up here, I think let me just import all the functions which I might need. From backend.crud.bookings import, I think we shall need create booking. We shall need to test the update booking status. We shall need to use the get booking by ID. Then also notifications, I say from backend, we might need this backend.crud.notifications import create notification, get notifications by user, mark notification as read, okay. Then from back, also we need notification model because we're going to create notifications. We need the notification model from backend.models.notification notifications. Why is it not? I want to depend on the intelligence, not the AI. Okay, the notifications import. Sometimes I've discovered this AI thing can mislead in your imports, and then you debug forever. We also need notification type. Okay, then we need from backend models, not models, schemas. Okay, if I remember well, schemas notifications import notification crate. Okay, yeah. For now, let's have that. In case of anything, I'll add if I've missed out. Then here, now we can now attempt to create the booking. So I'll say now the booking will be equals to create booking. Okay. Create booking. We pass the session. Okay. And this other booking. Maybe to to not confuse, I can call it maybe booking in. Okay, then I pass it here, not to confuse you. Come on, copy this, paste it here. So that is booking in. That's how you work with these things. All right, now with that done, I can now say, I can now make assertions. Okay, I can now assert that booking ID is not none. That's okay. Can make an assertion that the booking dot user ID equals to user ID. Okay, then the user ID here, okay, of this one is the one we passed here. So it's the one for this user. Okay, what we gave here, they should match. Okay, this user is the one who created this booking. So the IDs, the user ID on this booking object should match this user ID. Simple as that. Then we can actually fetch it again. So say db underscore booking is equals to get booking by ID. Okay, we pass the session and that and the ID. Okay, so after we have got the booking by ID, we can again confirm. Say by confirming that this bookings ID matches this bookings ID. Okay, then you can also assert like the status. Okay, say assert booking status equals to pending. See how writing tests is easy. So the number of things you can test. Okay, so I'll rush. I'm starting to understand, to regret. Maybe not regret, but I should have just kept the code. Okay, and explained it to you line by line. But it's actually very easy to do. I'll show you. Don't worry. I'll show you and explain it to you just to save time, to avoid having a very long stream. So the next line here, I can say define test update booking status. Okay, I'll accept that. Then the first thing, we need a user. Okay, man. Yeah, this is where I expect you, man, to be sharp. We need to create user. Okay. AI thing is not impressing me. This way I expect it to shine. Okay. But now it should have suggested a user. Okay. Okay, this is a user. So booking in. Okay, this is correct. I need to close this as a bracket. Okay. Flight order ID, total price, currency, pending. Okay, this is okay. Then you can now say booking equals to create booking. Okay. After that, you can now create update booking. Update booking equals to booking. Okay. We're using the booking ID. We are changing it to confirm, which is okay. Then we have to assert. Okay. That the updated booking status is now confirmed. Then after that, you can now say, can now refetch it. Okay. So db booking, okay, is get booking by ID, and we confirm that the one which we have just fetched from our database, that its status is actually confirmed. Yeah. So that's how you can write tests. It's not really hard. In the age of AI, wow, I really appreciate it. Makes life easy. Then we can test notifications, okay? So test underscore notifications. I say notifications CRUD. One thing I forgot to tell you is that you need to, every function, okay, every test function has to start with test underscore. Okay, test underscore. Maybe that is something I forgot to tell you. Test underscore, test underscore, test underscore, test underscore. Okay, then you can now give the function name. Now the next thing we can now do here, create a user. I was expecting it to really, I'll say notify at example.com. Okay, with that password. Then say notify in underscore in. So notification create. The user ID will be that. Notification type. Okay, this one now. Booking type, I'll just say booking type general to keep things simple. Message, your booking is confirmed. Okay, because it's general, I can just say test alert. Okay, test alert like that. Now here I can say now our notification will be equals to create notification. Okay, we pass the notification and the actual notification, which is this one. Then now we can do assertions. You can say assert, okay, the ID is not none, that the user ID of the notification matches the user whom we passed here. That is the one who created. Okay, this is now testing ownership, which is good. After that, we can now assert, okay, that the notification and say notification dot is read, okay, is false. Okay, just be false. After that, to do more further confirmation, we refetch it from the database. Okay, you can refetch it, okay, and say notification. Let me just make it short. Notifications will be equals to get notifications by user. Okay, we pass the session and the user ID. Then we can assert that the length of notification is equals to only one. We expect only one to be there. Okay, then you can also specify that what the notification at index 0. Remember, this is returns a list. Okay, so the one at index 0, its ID is the same notification which we created. Okay, then now we can say mark notification as read. Okay, pass the session and the notification. Then we can now fetch it. Okay, we can even use the database session to fetch. I say db notification notif will be equal to session.get notification and the notification.id. Then we check if that the db we assert, we check that the notification is read is now true. Remember, initially it was false. Okay, but we marked it as read, so it should be true. I hope you see how easy these things are. So if you're enjoying this, make sure you subscribe, share this video with people in your network. Okay, let's share this knowledge out there and have it spread all over. This is fun, isn't it? Much fun. So I can close all these. Okay, I can close all this. Now the other tests which I had here, I think in test consumers. Okay, yeah, I wish I didn't delete this, but I think I can easily get them by using Control Z. Okay, but let me go through it. Okay, so that you understand what it's all about. The other one I'll just highlight it. Okay, now here I'm going to deal with mocking. Okay, so I want to import a few things which we need. Okay, so we're going to need Pytest, of course. We're going to need functions for mocking. So I'll say from unit test. Okay, unit test, we got it when we imported the other tools that I showed you in the Py project. Unittest.mock. Okay, import. We need async mock, not patch, and I need magic mock. Okay, so those ones are going to work for us. So what else are we going to need? What is this from Pytest? It's supposed to be import type, import Pytest, not from Pytest. Then I'm also going to need the function I'm going to mock are two. Okay, I'm going to mock the function responsible for processing booking notifications and the function responsible for processing payment notifications. I'm going to create fake versions of them. Okay, so I need to import them first. So I say from backend dot consumers dot booking notifications import process booking notifications. Then the other one I'm going to mock will be from backend dot consumers dot payment notifications import process payment notifications. Okay, then I'll need a certain constant, okay, which will help us with Kafka events, because we're going to work with Kafka events. I'll say from backend dot utils dot constants import Kafka event types. Okay, as simple as that. This is what we want. Okay, and you're going to see how it works. So here I'm going to create a number of fixtures. Okay, so I'll say Pytest dot fixture. Okay. Next line, I'll say define mock underscore email. Okay. Then I'll expect a mocker. Okay. This mocker will be injected to us by the tools that we imported. Okay. The Pytest mock thing that we imported. Okay. Not imported, but what we installed here. Okay. This one will be given to us. So with this mocker, I can simply say return. Okay, we can return the mocker because we're going to use it later. Say mocker dot patch. Looks like AI knows what I want to patch. Okay, dot patch. So we need to specify. We need to. This is now creating the mock. Okay, so we're going to specify the real one and what we want to replace it. So this takes two arguments. Okay, the first argument is what you want, the real one, the location of the real one. Then the other one is the fake one. Okay, so the one which I want to mock, you specify as a string, will be backend. Okay, dot consumers. Okay, consumer. Let us follow it. So backend dot consumers. Okay, this is the path I'm following. Dot booking notifications. I'm going to copy this name. Control C. Okay, come here and paste it. Dot booking consumers. Dot. Okay, so booking consumers has a function send email. Wow, it is far-fetched, but it will still work. Okay, yeah, this is the one I want. Let's even this side. Okay, there's even no need to. I should have just called it from what, from external services, because in here booking notifications, it's also coming from external services. You get, but either way it would still work. By the way, you know that it would still work. If you don't believe me, let me put it. Okay, so I'll say send underscore email. You're going to see, because it's still Python. Okay, still Python. So with backend.consumers.booking notifications, what is this? I have to remove that. Okay, so what are we going to replace it? We're going to replace it with a new, you say new callable AI. I'm not asking for your suggestions. New callable async mock, because it's an asynchronous function. Okay, so we are replacing this send email with this. I see. Yeah. So what else do we want to mock? Pytest.fixture. Okay. I said define. Want to mock our notification service. I say notif service. Okay. So accepts the mocker and returns mocker.patch. Let me see if AI is right on this one. Okay. Mocker.patch backend.consumers.booking notification dot. No, that's not what I want. So I check backend.consumers.booking notifications dot. What we want to is this one here. Okay, create and publish. Okay, we shall help it. Okay, let's create this. Let's mock this one here also. Create and publish. I'll remove this. Okay, create and publish, and this one will be also an async mock, not magic mock, because it's asynchronous. Okay, so if you use magic mock if you use this magic mock for an asynchronous function, it will fail. Okay, so backend.consumers.booking underscore notifications dot create and publish notification, we replace it with our own async mock. Then at pytest.fixture, so to now test those async functions, what we do, we say at pytest, we decorate with pytest.mock mark.async.io. Okay, then here I can now say async def AI. Sometimes I say test process. I want to call it my own name. Booking. What name can I give it? Booking created underscore event. Okay. Then here, what I want it to inject from is different. I want it to inject session. Okay. Remember, session is going to come from here. conftest.py. That's what we want. Okay. I need to inject for me the session. I want it to inject for me the mocker. I want it to inject the mock email. I want it to inject for me the mock notification service. Okay. So mock email is this one. Mock notification service is this one. You get. Session comes from here, this one. So I like fixtures. Okay. So here now we can create a mock session context. I can say mock underscore session ctx for context will be equals to magic mock. Okay. An instance of magic mock. Then I'll say when mock session, okay, dot that context dot underscore enter. I'm going to explain this underscore, okay, enter dot return value will be equals to this session. Okay, so we're tricking it. Okay, because if you go to the if you see the code that does this, let me explain to you. That does with session, okay, get blah 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 blah. Okay, that code in the under the hood calls this enter, okay, and returns the value. So we are replacing it, that when it is called, okay, we return this. You get. I don't know if I've confused you. Have you understood that bit? Have you understood it? Okay. I'll explain it once again. Okay. Let me check the chat. Wow. Sai says, thank you, sir. I am from India and learning from you. You are the best teacher ever. Wow. I am humbled. Is your name Sai AI Staker? Sai AI Staker. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate. Tarif Ahmed. Hey, sir, will you use Grafana or Prometheus for monitoring also? And how many more videos will come in this series? I am in video 45 now. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate. Thank you for watching. Tarif. And Sai, just to answer your questions, okay? I'm not quite sure of how many more videos, okay? In about 2 weeks, about a week ago, I thought about 10 to 20, okay? We're remaining. Maybe 10 are remaining, to be fair, to finish the MVP. Maybe 10 to 15 now, okay? Yeah. But I'm trying to reduce them. I want to reduce them. I want to focus on only the major topics, okay? I want the major topics only, okay? So if I can get done with them, okay, I'll be sorted, okay? I don't know what you think. Terry, how many more do you think should be remaining? Do you think we should wrap it up quickly? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Yeah, but not so many, okay? If I was to say maximum, maybe maximum of maybe 15, okay? Yeah, I'm wrapping up. But yes, I am going to use Grafana and Prometheus, okay? But I think I'll use Prometheus for monitoring, yeah. Because later I would want to deploy it to like a Kubernetes, but we shall see, okay? We shall see all this, yeah. I'll set up Prometheus for monitoring. So do not worry. All the cool stuff is going to go down. So share these videos, like, okay? Let's grow our community. Tarif says, you are the best. May God bless you. Wow. I'm really humbled. I'm really humbled. Thank you, Tarif, for your kind words. I really appreciate. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's continue with this. Okay, let us continue. So I was trying to explain this. Okay, this. Okay. So this is on line 17. We simply have a fake session class. Okay, it acts as a fake session class. So when they call it magic mock. Anything you see with mock in testing, just need something fake. Okay. Remember, I told you that if you don't mock, you have to interact with the real services. What does it mean? Real services like payment gateways, like our Amadeus API, any external service, okay, takes long. Okay, so the test will be slow, first of all. And if it needs payment, you to pay for that service, you consume money. Your test will consume money. So to avoid all that, we mock, okay, but achieve the same purpose which we want. Okay, to ensure that our application is performing well, but while mocking. Okay, so this acts as our fake session. Okay, what does this enter here simply means? It means this code says, okay, that when the code says in the real code in our application, when it says something like with, okay, with session, okay, with session, okay, with session, okay, as when it does this, okay, Python calls the enter, okay, it calls the enter. So what we are saying here is that we are forcing it to return our test session instead, the one connected to the test database. Remember, we created our test database here. Okay, we are forcing it to return this, to use this one, this session which will be yielded here. Okay, and this fixture called session is the one being injected in our function here. So we're forcing it, its return value should be this. Okay, this is a common thing you're going to do. Okay, and you're going to need it. So the result is that the consumer thinks it opened a new database connection, but actually it is using our safe rolled back test connection. Okay, are you seeing how amazing that is? This is how amazing this whole thing is of mocking. Okay, pretty nice, pretty nice, pretty nice. So let's continue. So let's go on. Okay, let's go on. So what now I need to do is now to, I see what we did here, like mocha.patch. We can also do it for this. Okay, so say mocha.patch. That's if AI will get it correct. So let us say mocha.patch backend.consumers.booking notifications. Okay, so if I open that, let me open it. Where is, I guess I have to leave it open. Okay, booking notifications. What we want to mock, okay, is this one here. Okay, session, this one here. So say backend, so backend.consumers consumer.booking notifications dot session. Okay, the return value here will be this one here, this mock session context. Okay, yeah, now you understand, okay, why we need it. Where did we do that? I want to show you. It is this one here with session as session. Okay, so that when it does this, okay, what it actually, it will think it's actually getting the actual database, but actually in the test it will be using what we have given it, this one here. Then what else can we mock? Say mocha, not mocha.patch. That's if AI can get it again. Let us see. Say backend.consumers.booking notifications.get admin email. Okay, yeah, this is okay. Because this get admin emails makes a call to our database. Okay, we don't want to call the real database. Okay, so return value, can simply use this one here. Okay, this example, which is okay. Then I can say user, we need a user ID. So user ID will be equals to, I need to import UID up here. Import UID. Then here I can say user ID will be UID.UID4. The same thing for the booking ID. The booking ID booking underscore ID will be equals to UUID.UUI4, UUID4. Then now I can now create a payload, okay, for the event. And say event underscore payload will be equals to a dictionary, okay. So the event type, okay, will be, yeah, I can just autocomplete this. I say event type will be Kafka event types dot booking created. That's why I imported Kafka event types, okay. Booking ID will be this booking ID. User ID will be this user ID. But it's a UUID, so we need to convert it to a string, like we did. If you go to the booking notifications, I think we have that somewhere. I think where we are calling this, okay, where we are calling this, we did that, okay. No need to go into that. Then we need to pass things like the PNR. So for the user ID, okay, I mean user email, we can have that. We also need to pass the PNR. For the PNR, can just put something dummy, okay, PNR 123, okay, does not matter. Then here I had forgotten a comma. I think that is now good enough. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Now here, when we're done, now we can call this function. Await process booking notifications. Await process booking notifications. We passed this event load. Okay. But remember, as it when this function will be called, okay, when this will be called, okay, things like send email, okay, things like session, okay, are going to be mocked. Okay, it's going to use a fake session, it's going to use a fake send email, okay, not the real one. And that's what we wanted. That's why you see up here I mocked them. Okay, that session and get emails have been mocked. Now we can now test. Okay, you can say assert, am I forgetting the spelling of assert? Assert mock email dot await dot call count. So call count. Okay, call, what is this? Yeah, I'm calling this. I was wondering why it's not giving me intelligence. Okay, let me just code it. Dot call count is equals to 2, not 1 AI. It is 2. So ask yourself, why is it 2? Why is the call count 2? Why is the call count 2? Because one email is sent to the customer and one email is sent to the admin. Let me show you. If you go to a process and I scroll down, see, one email is sent to the customer, then another email is sent to the admin. Okay, that's why I said we want to check that this mock email was called twice. Okay, yeah, that's how you can test things. Because like I've told you, in the real function here, we send to the admin and to the customer. So it just be 2. Then I can say mock notification service. You can assert called that it was called once. Assert called once. I was expecting intelligence, but I hope the spelling is correct. Then I can unpack. I want to unpack args, okay? The variable length arguments and the keyword arguments from mock notification service dot call args, okay? Then I can check the first one, okay? I can assert, okay, that the quags user ID, okay? User ID. What is happening? User ID is equals to the user ID. Then I can assert for the PNR, okay? I can assert to check that the PNR, okay? This PNR here, okay? I can just copy it and paste it so that the PNR is in quags message, like that. Wow. Yeah. So it's been some work, okay? Then what else can I show you? I can now show you the other one, okay? I can show you the other one for testing this one here, okay? The process payment notifications. The same thing, very simple, because an async shall use pytest.mock.asyncio, okay? So you have to decorate. If you're testing an asynchronous function, okay, make sure you use this one here, pytest.mock.asyncio. Then here we can say async def test process. AI is not helping me here, guys. Process underscore payment. Literally tired, feeling worn out. Let me try to wrap up. Payment event. Pass the session. He need the session and the mocker only. Just keep it simple. Okay. Then here I'll need a mock email too. Mock email because mocker.patch. What is AI doing? Let me first finish. First remove all this. Okay, but I'll need these others. Let me first leave them. Mocker.patch backend.consumers.payment notifications.send email. Okay. New callable in sync mock. Okay, that is correct. Then also I'll need the mock. This same thing actually up here. No, it's not the same. What I need is actually this. I think this one here. No, it's not the one actually. See how I'm going to miss it myself. I say mock notif. Okay, will be mocker.patch. Let us see backend.consumers.payment notification.create and publish. Yes, that's the one I want to. If I come here, where is it? It's create and publish. This one here is the one I'm trying to mock. Okay, new callable will be an async mock. So what does it mean? We're replacing the real create and publish with our async mock. We are replacing the send email with our async mock, replacing the real one with the fake one, replacing the real one with the fake one. So this is what they call mocking. As simple as that. Now, let me see. So I want to copy a few things to save time. We need this. Okay. We need to create a fake session, a fake database session. Okay. Then here you can say mocker.patch. Okay. Backend.consumers.payment notifications.session. The same thing. Okay. Similar to what we did up here. Where is it? Here. Yes, for the booking notifications. So return this one instead. Okay. So when it will do this, where is it? Payment notifications. Where is that line? Where is that line of code? Yes, when it will do this, okay, we shall, when it will try to pick a session, we shall simply give it this session from our fixture, okay, which will be this. Okay, now we can now have our event payload in a similar way. Event underscore payload. This will be an event type. Let me see. Yeah, payment successful, correct. Booking ID is that, user ID is that, user email can be that, okay. The PNR, okay, I'll just copy the same PNR from up here to keep it simple, comma, paste the PNR. Then here we can now say await, okay, process payment notifications with the payload. Then we can do other assertions. We can do assertions like this, okay, like what we had here. But just to show you a difference, okay, we can have a difference, okay, just a change. What I can do, I'll ignore what AI is suggesting. Not a change, but to show you like a different way of doing things. You can say mock email, okay, mock email yes, dot assert any call, okay, set any call that the recipients, okay, the recipients of this email was this one here. Use that example, okay. Then that you can also assert the subject, okay. I'll show you why the subject is supposed to be this, okay. Then we assert the template name is that one, that is correct. The extra information that the PNR was this same PNR and the booking ID was the same booking ID. Finally, AI being useful. I want to show you this subject, okay? Send email, where are you? So you see the recipients will be the event.user email, okay? Which will be this event.user email. Then subject, I can just copy it to make sure that we are correct, okay? Because these are strings, it will test to match exactly, okay? The template name, I think, is the same, okay? PNR will be the same, booking ID will be the same. So PNR, booking ID, yeah, the same thing. So this is, you can assert that any call was made to the email, okay, to the email with these arguments. So you see, pretty easy, pretty easy, pretty easy, pretty easy. Next up, I can now call the mock notif, mock notification service, and say it, I want to set it at least called once, assert underscore called underscore once, like that, okay? Yeah, wow, this has been a long stream, 86 minutes so far, but I can make it shorter because I planned it that way to explain to you the main things, okay? Then the other one, I had the code here, I did not delete it actually. It's saying test external service, okay? This one is for testing external services, and I'm going to explain it to you, okay? So at the end, at the beginning of the module, we import Pytest, mock, booking, create user, create booking. Create a fixture for a test user, okay? By returning the create user function that creates a user called test at example.com with the password, okay? So this is the email and this is the password. Then, but again, this lets me know that we need to have actually strong passwords in this system. Then Pytest.fixture, we create an auth header, okay? So we override the authentication dependency, okay, in for our application. How do I do that? I import get current user, okay? Then say client.app.dependency overrides. This is something we did here in consumers. I think, was it in consumers or yeah, here in the fixture, okay? In the conftest, dependency overrides for get session. So in the same thing, where is it? Where are you? Where are you hiding? We create a dependency override for get current user and replace it with our test user. So when FastAPI tries to look for get current user, okay, which it will instead use our test user. This is what it does, okay? And then the tests will run. Then at the end, we clear all of them. Okay, the same logic. That is why I kept the code of this test file, okay, because it repeats what I've already explained. Then again, like I've told you, the tests should start with test underscore, okay, test underscore. Then you put your function name. Then here we have initiate payment success, okay. It takes the client. Where does client come from? Do you remember? Let me open these two. Client is this one here. Is this one here down? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? No, it's in the confidence. Client is this one. Okay, so it is injected for us here. Okay, session is this one here. It is injected for us here because it's a fixture. Okay, the test user is this fixture here. Okay, then the mocker is given to us by the Pytest mock that we inherited. Then auth header is this one here. Okay, we are not going to use it in this function. That's why you see it is grayed out, but we need it, okay, for authentication. Okay, so it will be still executed. Then inside here we simply called the create booking function. Okay, we create a booking, okay, with the user ID, a flight order ID, total price, and the status is pending. After that, we patch. Okay, there's this function called in our router. Okay, we have backend.router.payments.pesapal client.submit order request. Okay, just to show you, can only show you one. Okay, backend.routers.payments. Okay, then what else did it say? Pesapal client. Pesapal client. This one here. Okay. Dot submit order request. Dot submit order request. So is it submit order request is this one. Okay. So that is how the things work, my friends. So you simply specify the exact path what you want to mock. So this is the real one. Okay. This is the real one. Okay. And this is the mock, async mock, the fake one. As simple as that. Then we also now we actually say we now say mock submit. So all this we're saving it in a variable called mock submit. Okay. And in addition to that, you can also mock the return value. Okay. So you say the return value will be this dictionary having an order tracking ID, a merchant reference. The redirect URL will be this. And better to understand this, you must have understood the implementation that we did when building the payment gateway of Pesapal. So make sure you review that if you've forgotten. Then after that, we do a mocker.patch. How do we patch? Okay. What are we patching? Or what are we mocking? Or what are we faking? Okay. So in case you say, every time you see mocker.patch, ask yourself, what do I want to fake? What do I want to mock? What do I want to replace? Okay. So we want to replace the IPN function, okay, with our test IPN ID. Okay. So this IPN ID function simply returns an IPN, a string. Okay. And we shall say replace it with this one. Okay. Because this Pesapal test client takes time. Okay. It's a payment gateway and it involves money. You do not use your money. Okay. So we create a fake one to save money. Then after that, we also patch the Kafka producer because we send events, okay, in Kafka. After payment has been successful, we fire an event or publish an event. So we need to also mock it because Kafka is going to also it has to work with Redis. It's also its own service. Okay, we don't want to use we also mock it. We mock it. Okay, so here we have now a payload, a dictionary having the booking ID, the amount, it has the description, it has the callback, it has the billing address. Okay. So then here we now do client.post. Now ask yourself, okay, is this an integration test? Is this a unit test? Ask yourself, based on what I showed you at the beginning of this stream, is this an integration test or a unit test? Let me know in the comment section. Okay. Then after that, assert response equals to 200 in case things are okay. Then we assert that there's a redirect URL, okay, and it has to be this, okay. Where is it? Right here, okay. Then you can say mock submit.assert called once, okay. We just simply check that at least it was called once, okay. Then this is the first one. Then we have one for test flights mock, okay. Texting the client and the mocker. This one is mocking the search flights get, okay, the function responsible for searching for flights. And the same way, the return value should simply be this, okay, a list of one dictionary having an ID, which is this. And the parameters are these, okay, the location ID, the destination code, the departure code, and the number of adults, okay. Then you say response clients.get, we make a get request with those parameters to this endpoint, okay. Then we assert we assert the status code to be 200, okay, and that it was called once, okay. As simple as that. Then we also call on for confirming the price, okay. What function are we mocking is this one here, confirm price. What is the fake or mock return data is this one here, okay. Then we create a minimal data, okay, a payload of how it can look like, okay. So I gave AI the context and told it to generate this for me. Okay, so you can also use the same thing. Just make sure you do a code review and you understand what is going on. After that, you do a client.post. Okay, and then to the endpoint and pass the payload. As simple as that. Then assert the response and check that it was called at least once. So you can do any number of assertions that you want. So with this, I trust that you've understood how you can write unit tests or integration tests. Okay. So this is a good way. And this is something I had ignored, okay, that you need to do. So in fact, here, like in test bookings, we had yesterday dummy. Okay. It's a dummy test. This does nothing. Okay. Okay, it will pass, but it's not really what we would need. So let me try to run. Try to run. I see time is fast spent. Time is fast spent. Maybe I don't need this. Even this one, I don't think I need it. What is, okay, I can run from this other directory. Can say the Python path, first of all, because it's something I encountered earlier. It wasn't picking it. So I say the Python path would be equals to go to directories out, okay? So that it is able to know this, okay? This backend directory here. So I'm putting two periods. Then I can now run uv, because it's our package manager, uv run Pytest, okay, minus v verbose mode, then tests, okay. So minus v is for verbose, meaning give us information, okay. Then tests is referring to this package, okay, this Python package. Okay, let's see. So 9 tests have passed and 1 test has failed, okay. So time to investigate. Says type error, mark notification read missing one required argument. So type mark notification as read missing one required positional argument user ID. Okay, so that one is in this file, test confirm price mock. It's not the one which failed. Test notifications CRUD, okay, is in which file? Let us see, let us investigate this one here, okay, test CRUD.py. Close this, test CRUD.py, okay. So yeah, it is this one here. It says mark notifications as read is missing one required argument. So if I go to its definition, okay, and check it, are you seeing it expects the session, which is the connection to the database. It expects the notification ID and the user ID. So you see the test is correct, okay? So it is failing. So that is actually also a passing test, by the way. So this is, I mean, a failing test, which is okay. So here we need to pass the user ID, okay? Now I want you to think, where do we get the user ID from? Okay, just to test your thinking. Okay, let me minimize this. Where do we get the user ID from? Think about it. Think. Where? I like causing you to think, okay, of these things so that you know what to do. It's actually easy, okay? You don't have to stress out. The user ID comes from this, okay? 59, line 59 here. So you simply come here, say comma, user.id. Save, expand it. Clear. So if you're an experienced tester, I wouldn't say I'm an experienced person at testing. I've written unit tests, okay? I write them. But I cannot say I'm an experienced person. So if you're here and you know, Teach me. Okay? Tell me what I've done wrong. Tell me you can improve your test like this. If you did this, you can improve your test. If you do this, you're writing a better test. Okay? I'll be very happy to learn from you. So again, I'll try it again. I'll set the Python path, say equals to, go two directories out. Okay. Let me just do something to show you where I'm saying ls. So if I do ls, you see the structure right inside the backend. If I don't set that Python path to two periods, meaning go outside the current working directory, it will fail to know the backend. Okay, the backend imports, and imports like this from backend will fail. Okay, maybe let me show you. Let me show you that for it to make sense to you. I'll say Python. I'll say uv run pytest. Okay, run the pytest directory. I see it says module not found error, no module named backend. Okay, that's the issue. Hey Leslie, you should be resting. What are you doing right now? I need to tell your government to block your internet. Anyway, jokes. Nice to have you on the stream. I hope you're doing well. It's been a while, man. Can't imagine I haven't talked to you during this season. I hope you enjoyed the festive season and yeah, the whole of last week, this week, and it's going well for you that side. So let me try it again. Python path. Okay, will be equals to, so two periods, meaning we're getting out of this current working directory, and then I can say uv run pytest, okay, minus v for verbose, and then specify the tests directory, then hit enter. So I hope this time they all pass. Wait, it again failed. I haven't touched code in a month. That's enough rest. Wow. You're really lucky. Let me check the date today. Today is 29th. I have to find time to rest, man. Let me see. I'm thinking of having maybe a stream, one last stream tomorrow, if possible. Else I just quit and rest until the new year. I need to keep energy. The risk is coding a lot right now, and then the new year comes and I'm burnt out. So test notifications CRUD. Mark notification is missing one required positional argument. Wait, what is happening? I thought I just fixed that. Did I undo it? Oh, I get it. Oh my god, I'm so sick. Look at what I did. On line 78, I passed the user ID here. It's not supposed to be here. It's supposed to be right here. It looks like I'm high on mushrooms. User.id. Okay. Yeah, this is how it's supposed to be. So I'll clear, hit enter. So this time they should all pass. Sorry about that. I'm sure if you were following along and coding with me, you wrote the same thing and wondered what's going on. Yeah, so those are 10 tests, okay? But what I can tell you is that 10 tests are not enough for this project, okay? There are so many edge cases, okay? But the goal of this live stream was to teach you how to use Pytest, okay, to write tests. Because I know most of you guys are here who watch this. I see the YouTube analytics. You're people who know Python, okay? And I'm sure you'll be knowing Pytest. So yeah, I wanted to show you how you can do your tests, okay? Especially the mocking external services using Pytest, okay? And these are 10 enough tests to show you how to do that. Now you can use AI to tell you the edge cases, okay? And then it generates for you. After it has generated, review each test to make sure that it does what you expect according to your business logic. Leslie says, my biggest fear is questioning the code I wrote. Yeah, that happens. Let me show you something, Leslie. I was questioning something recently. I think it's actually the most complex thing in this project so far. It's in utils consumer. Okay. After at some point, I don't know. I don't know whether I was tired, but I got lost around here. I'm like, what the hell is this? Okay. But I guess I was tired yesterday when I was reviewing this. Yeah. And then also there's another function in the routers, which I haven't actually used. And I think I'm going to remove it from this project. It's here in flights.py. This function here, there's a a path operation. This one here, okay? Because I discovered that this one get, okay, is doing what I want. But this one here does not do what I want, okay? And actually it's problematic at some point. At some point I even got confused because I was seeing this one and I was seeing this one, okay? So when I went to this, okay, something wasn't making sense. I don't know why, but it wasn't making sense, okay? And I began asking myself, why do I have this function and this function? You get, why is it called search flights 2? It was crazy and weird, but I guess it's something which happens. But then I remembered, I scrolled through the playlist, then I was reminded. Yeah, I'm actually thinking of starting to clean up. But yeah, it is something which usually happens to us. So I appreciate everybody who has been an active participant. Thanks, Leslie. Greetings to your to your president in Zim. Greetings. Thanks, Tarif, for being active. Tarif, you're on day 45. You're not far. Okay, you're very close. Thanks, AI Staker. Okay, I'm thinking of starting some nice AI content. Okay, there are three main requests you've asked for. People have asked for microservices, AI, and Docker. Something to prioritize microservices, then maybe AI engineering. Yeah, because it is something I also want to this coming year I want to go deep into AI engineering. So yeah. So thank you all for being active participants. I love the fact that 6 people have liked this video today. It's rare to have 6 people liking a video in my streams. So I really appreciate it. I think the last time people liked my video was, I think, within the first 10 when people were watching. Okay. Many people were watching during the live streams. But I've discovered that most people prefer to watch after the live stream because maybe during the live stream they're engaged elsewhere. But I appreciate everybody. I hope this has added something to you. So if it has, please share with people in your network who can benefit from this. Like, for any question, feel free to ask, okay? And then, like a Discord is now open, okay? You can get into Discord and ask questions. And if you see a question there, please help, okay? Answer on my behalf. Because we're in a world of juggling, okay? So I might be juggling and I'm not seeing the messages on Discord. Let's say I'm just starting AI. Oh, not bad. Actually, I did some AI. Okay, I have some videos on this channel. I built some small projects using AI in Django. Then I did one video on text generation, but I really want to go deep into it. Image generation, video generation, streaming video. I want to go into function tooling. I want to go into things like agentic AI, RAG. I want to go into things like vector databases, all that cool stuff. Okay. Yeah, fine tuning and yeah, I saw some guy making OpenAI interact with DeepSeek and some other model from Anthropic. I think it was Claude something. Okay. Yeah. So pretty interesting. Okay. And an opportunity for us maybe to make some good cash from that end. Yeah. So Leslie, we'll catch up. Thank you. I appreciate you joining. Thanks everyone else, and let's meet in the next stream. Bye for now.